Hello everyone, I'm Snigdha Kakkar. This is my channel AccelerateAICareers. Today I have brought a very interesting LeetCode problem, LeetCode 59, spiralmatrix 2. This is a very important question indeed from interview perspective. Has been asked by several FAANG companies including Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Adobe. So it's a very important question and has gained a lot of traction in last 0 to 3 months. We have solved a similar question, spiral matrix, before. So this is just an extension of that question, but I'll be solving it from scratch. So even if you have not watched that video, this question is standalone. So let's see what does this question say. You have been given a positive integer n, and you have to generate an n by n matrix filled with elements ranging from 1 to n square. That's because there is space for n square elements in the matrix when it is dimensioned n by n. And you have to fill those elements in spiral order. What I mean by spiral order is depicted in example 1 here. You were given n equal to 3. So you have to fill the elements from 1 to 9 in spiral order. That is, start from the left top cell, go to right top cell, fill it with 1, 2, 3 incrementing values. Then move towards bottom, go from right top cell to right bottom cell and fill the incrementing values from 3, 4, 5. Then go from bottom right cell to bottom left cell and go from value incrementing from 5 to 6, 7. And then you again go from bottom left cell to new top. New top would be, since you already covered the top row, you moved the top pointer and brought it one row below. And you go from bottom left cell to top left cell and so on. So every time we are basically filling the values incrementally in a spiral fashion, and that's what your question is. And your output will be this matrix, as shown in example 1 and 2. Now, how do I solve this question? What's the intuition behind this question? I'll be explaining it using a 4x4 matrix. The 4x4 matrix is shown here. I will use 4 variables for 4 pointers: left pointer, right pointer, top pointer, bottom pointer. Even though I'm initializing them with the similar values, the 2 pointers like left and top both initialize at 0 indices, and right pointer and bottom pointer initialize at n-1 indices. But at the same time, I'm gonna use 4 pointers rather than using 2 pointers because it is more clear. When we are solving the question to examiner, it helps explain the answer better. There's no harm using additional 2 pointers to depict what it actually entails. And how will I increment these pointers or decrement these pointers, and how will I fill in these values? Let me show you using this example. So first of all, my left and top pointer both are at 0, 0 indices. My right pointer and bottom pointer are at n-1 indices, like I mentioned. And I start with this top left cell. And I go from this cell to this cell, which is in the same top row, but the rightmost cell. So I basically travel through the entire topmost row. And I increment the values and fill like 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as I reach here, the first thing I need to do is increment top, because I have moved it to next row. I've covered the prior top row, so I have to move it here. Now, since it is spiral fashion, I basically now fill the rightmost column entire value. So it goes 5, 6, 7. Until it reaches the bottommost pointer, bottommost row. So once I reach here, again I will take the right pointer and I will decrement it by 1 in here, because I have used the entire right column, filled it out. So my next thing would be fill out the bottom row in reverse order. So 7, 8, 9, 10. As soon as I fill the bottommost row, my job for bottommost row is done. So I will move my bottom pointer and I will decrement it by 1. Now, I will fill the values in the leftmost column, 11 and 12. Now, since my leftmost column is filled, only pointer remaining to be moved is left pointer. I have moved the right pointer, I have moved the top pointer, bottom pointer. So I'll increment my left pointer. Now my new problem, I have filled one layer of the square, if you see, the outer layer. Now my new problem is this inner square, and my pointers are already updated. So I'll start from the value after 12, which is 13, and fill the entire top row like we did before with our algorithm, 14. After filling the entire row, I have to move my top pointer and bring it one cell below. Now I will fill out the entire rightmost column, which is 14 and then 15. After that, I will move my right pointer and bring it here. Now I will fill out my entire bottom row, 15 and then 16. After that, I have to increment my bottom pointer. And as soon as I increment my bottom pointer, it crosses my top pointer, which is the closing equation or the closing condition for my for loop or for my while loop. And then the algorithm will stop here. And if you see, my square is already filled in the spiral fashion. So that's your stopping solution for this problem. As soon as either of your pointers crosses, your square is filled out and your while loop will stop executing. And that's the crux of the way how we're going to solve this solution. So let's start coding it. It will become clearer when we start coding it. In terms of time complexity, the time complexity would be O of n squared, since you are filling out the entire matrix, which is n by n dimension, right? And the space complexity, if you consider this matrix to be occupying some space, then space complexity would be O of n squared. If you consider this space to be provided by the question, then the space complexity would be O of 1. I hope that's clear to you. Let's start coding it. First of all, I will initialize my matrix. Since it is Python, the initialization is quite easy. Let me explain. So I'll first take each value of the cell as 0. Now how many columns I need? It's n. And for how many rows? N rows. So for underscore in range n. So that's my initialization for the matrix. Why I'm using underscore is because I'm not going to use this variable again. And hence I'm using underscore here. You can use I, j, any variable we feel good. Now I'll initialize my 4 pointers, left and right would be 0 and n minus 1. And my top and bottom pointer will also be 0 and n minus 1. Also, I will initialize my value, which I'm going to fill in the cells, and I'm going to increment it in each for loop, so that initializes at 1. Now, I will write my terminating condition, which is while either of the pointers, left is less than equal to right, until then the loop should run, or top is less than equal to bottom. Any of the two conditions you can write. I'm using left less than equal to right. Now, just to show you what I'm going to do, first I'm going to fill every value in the top row like we did in the example of 4x4 matrix. Then I'm going to fill every value in the rightmost column. After that, I'm going to fill every value in bottom row, but in reverse order, going from the right side to the left side. So reverse order. And then I'm going to fill every value in left column in reverse order again. So you have to write code for all these 4. So first of all, fill every row in top, every value in top row. For that, I'm going to go for every column in range, starting from the left pointer till the right pointer, but I have to include the right pointer. To include right pointer in Python, we have to add 1 here. And then what would be the matrix value I'm going to update? So I'm going to update the top row. That's my row number. And my column value would be C. And the value which I'm going to update is val. And I'm going to increment val every time I move through the for loop. Also, don't forget that after you have filled out the entire top row, like in my algorithm explanation I told, after that you have to move your top pointer. So you increment your top pointer by 1. This is your entire code for this. Similar kind of code we will be writing for each of these. So fill every value in right column. That means you're moving rows. So for row R in range, you start from top, you go till bottom, but include bottom as well. To include bottom, you add 1 to the bottom pointer. And then you update mat, row value is R, and your column value would be right. And the value you are updating is val. Do not forget to increment val at every point. And then after you have traversed entire right column, after that you have to move the right pointer. And to move the right pointer, you will have to decrement the right pointer because you're moving it inside. Same ways, I will write the code for filling every value in bottom row, but you have to do it in reverse order. So for reverse order, I'll be moving through all the columns in bottom row. So for C in range, and you start from right pointer and you go till left pointer, but you have to include the left pointer. To include the left pointer, you will do left minus 1 because you're doing in reverse order. And for reverse order, the step size would be minus. That's how you do it. And you have to update matrix. The row would be bottom and the column would be C, and you have to update it with val. After that, do not forget to increment val And finally, you will update your bottom pointer. Bottom pointer is moved up. So bottom pointer moving up means you decrement it by 1. Now, filling the leftmost column. So for every row in range, you start from the bottom, you go to top in reverse order, but you have to include the top. To include the top, you will do top -1 since you're going in reverse order. Step size would be -1 again for reverse order. And then you will update mat for every row and your column would be left. Update the value to increment the val every time and then update your left point. Left pointer moves inside, so increment by 1. And finally, you have to return your matrix. That's your result. So this is your entire code. Let me explain again. I first initialize my matrix by value zeros in all the cells, in all rows and all columns, n by n matrix. I initialized my left, right, top, bottom pointers as well as the value which I'm going to fill in. Then I put the terminating clause, which is either top less than equal to bottom or left less than equal to right. And then I write 4 for loops, 2 for reverse order, 2 for forward. And all the 4 loops are designated to fill the matrix in spiral order, as I have explained in my algorithm. And every time I write the for loop, I have to increment my value to be filled in each cell. And once I've filled each row or column, I have to update the pointers accordingly. So I hope the question is clear to you. Let's run this. It's accepted. Let's submit. As you can see, our solution beats 100% solutions present on LeetCode. So our solution is doing quite well here. Now, if you have a better approach to solve this question, do share it in the comments. I would love to learn from you. If you like my way of solving problems, subscribe to my channel right away to get your notifications for your daily LeetCode challenge. Thank you.